Lastly, for me, we did have a fight cancellation today. Not a lot of details on the information of what happened there. There's speculation that maybe this was a wagering flag. What can you tell us?
That's what it is. Happened again. You know,
It happened again. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Dana White confirms what Boxing Ego told y'all. There's been an infraction. Scandal. Tragedy. Mayhem. Controversy. Bro, just like clockwork, Boxing Ego does it again. Check out my video on Zuffa Boxing. Check out my follow-up video on Max Kellerman. I told you guys in my previous video that Max Kellerman is 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, a company man and shield now. I don't know what changed. I don't know why behave this way, nor do I care. It is what it is. I deal in reality. And it's so funny.
I have literally been waiting for this, for right now.
He just said, I've been waiting for this my whole life, right? Talking about Zuffa Boxing, and he was like, when UFC puts on a fight, it's everybody knows it, and it's a name you can trust, right? Hold on.
You're talking about the NBA.
Where's that part?
Has been. Hey, you know what they should see? It is a brand that you know and trust.
It is a brand. There it is. Max Kellerman says, when we're talking about the UFC, it is a brand you know and trust. So that's why they're going to do right for boxing. Keep in mind the word trust.
Yeah. Lastly, for me, we did have a fight cancellation today. Not a lot of details on the information of what happened there. There's speculation that maybe this was a wagering flag. What can you tell us?
That's what it is. Happened again. You know, we got called from the Gaming Integrity Service, and I said, I'm not doing this shit again. So we pulled the fight.
Canceled fight from today. Like, what happens now? Is there an investigation? Like,
I mean, the FBI's already, deep into all this stuff anyway, so I'm sure this one will be next.
Right, so, like, are those guys out of action until something concludes, or is it just one side of the fight?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Bro, the FBI? Bro, the FBI. So, in case you didn't understand what he was saying, Dana White revealed and confirmed what I reported, that the Michael Johnson-Hernandez fight was pulled from UFC 324 with Paddy Pimblett, right, and Justin Gaethje. That card was supposed to have that fight, but they pulled it the day of the fight, hours before the fight, because there were what they believed to be suspicious and borderline like illegal account activity, as new bets, sporting bets, were coming through on the Johnson versus Hernandez fight that looked fishy. So something actually flagged that made them like on full alert, and he said the Gaming Integrity Commission called.
There's speculation that maybe this was a wagering flag. What can you tell us?
That's what it is.
There was speculation, not much detail on what happened, even though I told you what happened, and I was right. And he said, yeah, that's what it was.
Happened again.
Happened again.
We got called from, the Gaming Integrity Service, and
we got called from the Gaming Integrity Service. So something's fishy. They're looking at, he said the FBI, they're investigating because there looks like there's some kind of fraudulent activity. Scam likely. And all these people who are glazing like Max Kellerman, Zuffa Boxing, Dana White, Turkey, TKO, and literally you just heard Max Kellerman say out his own mouth, I've waited my whole life for this. We've never seen anything like this. UFC is a brand you can trust. Not mentioning, this is how you know he's a company man. UFC is in the worst spot that I can ever recall it being in. They have absolutely no stars. Sean O'Malley looked mid yesterday, even though he won, right? Conor McGregor, he ain't fought in like 5 years, and when he fought, he was losing to Dustin Poirier and guys like Khabib Nurmagomedov. And in the wins he was like Cowboy Cerrone. So he's kind of out the way as well, right? Nate Diaz don't fight there anymore. Like Anderson Silva's a boxer now, wants to be a cop. Ronda Rousey, she doing podcasts, she retired. Amanda Nunes pretty much retired. Like, where are your stars? And then they put it on Paramount Plus, right? Like, oh, look, we're not charging you pay-per-view. That's because the Dagestani fighters and Russian fighters and Georgian fighters have taken over, and they're putting up great wrestling performances, but they're kind of lackluster to the audience that wants to see a bit more action, and you don't have charismatic, dynamic pay-per-view stars. Max Holloway, he's kind of been MIA, Poirier retired, and so on and so forth. And then the people who are really, really winning are a lot of the wrestling people, which is not necessarily what you want on pay-per-view. So they're making it like they're cutting you a deal to not charge you pay-per-view when, in fact, they don't even have a pay-per-view star where they could put you on pay-per-view. I guess, they tried it with Izzy. He ended up losing. Sean Strickland ended up losing, right? Drakus ended up losing. Peter Yan just beat Marab. You know what I mean? They don't really have nobody that's like going to hold the crown right now. Like the Anderson Silvas, the George St. Pierre's, John Jones, and Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey. That era been dead. And then on top of that, they're putting it on Paramount Plus and Peep.
Obviously, we are no longer on pay-per-view, so there was a bit of a different viewing experience tonight. There was a lot of ads during the broadcast, sometimes over the walks and sometimes over the corner work. Is that something fans are going to have to get used to, or is that a work in progress that you'll change going
I haven't
forward?
seen it yet, and all this is a work in progress. It's $8.99. You're not paying fucking, however much anymore. These guys gotta make some money too. So.
See how Dana trying to act nonchalant. The dude's like, there's a bunch of commercials. We couldn't watch the ring walks, and we couldn't hear what the corners were saying, which is pivotal to the viewing experience. Now that's on Paramount Plus, they're running ads and commercials, and it takes you out of the immersive experience, like when you were on ESPN. And he's like, hey, so what? It's $8.99, so, pretty much deal with it. These guys got to get paid. Yeah, I'm sure that's what fans want to hear. But then again, Max Kellerman and the people glazing Zuffa Boxing and Dana White and UFC, they're not talking about none of this.
You're not paying fucking, however much anymore. These guys gotta.
And then he said it's $8.99. I don't even know if that's true. I have a Paramount Plus link I'm an affiliate. I don't even think it's $8.99 anymore, right? And when the UFC did their deal, they raised the price. So use my affiliate link if you do want to get Paramount Plus, and I'm pretty sure it's not $8.99, but they got movies and other stuff like the Landman or whatever. I heard that's a good TV show. So use my affiliate link. So again, now you have people, they're not even liking the broadcast. There's a bunch of commercials.
Gotta make some money too. So, yeah.
Would that be something that they decide, or would you watch it back and maybe think, okay, the co-main event, we should still hear the corner work, or are you just like, listen, Paramount paid for it, they get to decide?
Well, that is a fact. Let's start there. But these guys are incredible to work with already, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
See how he didn't really answer anything? So be cautious as fight fans when people are glazing Dana White and Zuffa Boxing as if they can do no wrong, but then you got fighters fainting in the UFC right after they weigh in, and you try to cut the camera. You got fights being canceled for suspicious illegal betting activity from the Gaming Integrity Commission, and then now people are complaining about ads. And in the UFC fight, the main event was cool, but the rest of the card really wasn't cool. So let me know what you think. And y'all gonna make this year a lot of fun for me.